IMSA Radio and IMSA TV together in the global broadcast booth. I'm John Hindorf. Alongside me is the foremost female play-by-play motorsport commentator in the world, often found patrolling pit lanes as well. It's a good afternoon to Shay Adam. Hello, Shay.
Hello, John, and hello, Porsche fans all around the world. Boy, have we got a treat for you.
This is the third round of the championship. Split winners at Sebring, 5 or 6. In fact, it's more than that. It's quite some time ago. We're still effectively in the same state, but we've been on hold for quite some time.
Yes, in the first 2 rounds of the championship, which did begin at Sebring International Raceway, only about 3 hours up Highway 27 from where this race is taking place. It's quite an easy drive, to be honest. Gus Burton and Luke Hartog splitting the victories, also splitting the pole positions. Well, for today's race, it's Alex Sedgwick on pole. So are we going to get 3 different race winners in 3 races for the first time in series history?
Well, that would be an outstanding effort if we can. We've got a couple of drivers at the back. Angel Benitez, he threw a whole load of coolant on the track, and it wasn't the right sort of coolant. You're not allowed to have glycol in your coolant because that is very, very slippery indeed. And it took the track workers quite some time to get that sorted out, and resulted in a 20-minute delay. And also James Sofronis, his GMG Racing Porsche was too low. As far as the front of the field, it's a pole position for Alex Sedgwick. He has captured pole for JDX Motorsport with Jimmy Libra for ACI alongside him. That's his best qualifying position. On row 2, it'll be Ryan Yardley in the 78 top performance car and Gus Burton in the classes. Efren Castro in 11th position is the best of the Pro-Am, and in Masters that will be Chris Belomo, who is in 22nd position in the Kelly Moss number 68 car. 3 different classes of car, however they are all the same car. 507 horsepower, flat 6, normally aspirated 4-litre Porsche 911 992 type Cup cars. We've had them for a couple of years, and we are looking at a race lap record of a 156.693, which was set here by Riley Dickinson last year. Riley had a very, very good weekend here last year.
And that was in the second race of the weekend, so the track conditions were not as difficult as they will be for this race. Peak heat in Miami is at about 3:30 in the afternoon, so it has started to cool off, but cool off is a very liberal term.
Yeah.
Yes, it's probably down to an ambient, if I had to guess, somewhere in the region of about 83 degrees, which for a May day in Miami is pretty standard quo. So people living in Miami will be fully used to these conditions, and the advantage should be towards Angel Benitez and Moise Uretsky, both drivers who actually do live in Miami. Elias De La Torre lives in Key Largo, the young man who went to Coral Shores, I think was his high school, and Jimmy Libra and Efren Castro are 2 drivers from the Dominican Republic. They consider Miami to be their home track, so maybe the heat will affect those drivers a little bit less. Maybe we'll see them be able to make their way up quite easily, or at least more easily than, let's say, I don't know, John, some of the English drivers?
Yeah, well, let's see how it goes. The safety car is in the Porsche Salzburg colours. I love that throwback livery of that car that is leading them around, and that is in fact a GT3. Quite often we'll use a Porsche Turbo. That looks to me like that is a 911 GT3. Nicely getting everybody together as they come down that long back straight and heading into the last couple of corners. 17 is the tighter hairpin. It opens up to 18, then there's a kink at 19. 40 minutes on the clock, and this is a time certain race. 98 is Sedgwick on the inside, and he's got Jimmy Libra in that red, white and blue car right alongside him. Watch out for Gus Burton in the 20, the yellow car sitting in behind Jimmy Libra. He is very quick at the start. Now, did anybody change lanes there? I'm not sure about that. That might have been a bit iffy. Right round the outside for the 88. The pink car coming through. That's Michael Cooper as he comes around with the pink front on that car. He started in 6th position as they go under the Rolex Waterhover Bridge for the first time, heading down towards the Serpentine run through 3, 4, 5, 6 and then 7, which tightens up into 8, and everybody's got through. Coming through into 3rd, that is the number 78 of Ryan Yardley.
Yeah.
So decent start from everybody. I'm just checking as they go through the timing points to make sure we have got everybody across the line, and I believe we have, and through the first couple of sectors. Now heading into this long run under the Red Bull part of the circuit, down towards the heavy braking area at 11, that's the Heineken area. They'll turn left and then through the Hard Rock Hook, this long right-left kink into all the way down to first gear under the transit bridge. Lots of curb being taken by all the drivers there as they now get onto the back straight for the first time, and it's Sedgwick from Libre, then Luke Hartog. Looks like Yardley coming through into 4th position, so he's lost a position. Then Vanier, Cooper's in there. Speedy Dan Clark, former IndyCar driver, in 6th position. No, man, at 8th position as the timing screen catches up. Elias De La Torre, then Michael McCann as they head across the line for the first time. Tidy first lap here, and we're underway properly.
Well done, everybody, for keeping it clean through that opening lap. There was a serious advantage, at least through the first 2 practice sessions, in drivers with track knowledge. We saw last year Michael McCann, Ryan Yardley, Sabre Cook, Elias De La Torre, Alex Sedgwick, our pole sitters, Speedy Dan Clark, and Jimmy Libre, all amongst the drivers in the top category. By the way, category is determined by age, not driver's skills. Should put that out there as well. But all of those drivers sort of with a leg up on everybody else, particularly Gus Burton and Luke Hartog, who won the first 2 races of the season and lead the championship quite soundly over everyone else. Now, Alex Sedgwick, Jimmy Libre, then Luke Hartog, then Ryan Yardley. Again, we're seeing these drivers who have turned laps around this venue before with that slight advantage. But Luke Hartog, a very quick learner, he is pushing to get back to the lead of this race.
Adam and John Hanghoff with the call on this for Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Yokohama. One of 2 rounds today and tomorrow at this Formula One event. Good to see a decent amount of crowd has stayed on at the end of this sprint Saturday. This is the first of 6 rounds of the Porsche Carrera Cup North America that will be on Formula One weekends, as we will finish the season with a couple of rounds at COTA, and in between will be at F1 Canada as well with these cars. Fastest lap.
Event.
Sorry, Shane, go ahead.
That event being the next one on the calendar for them as well, so they go back to back Formula One.
1:57.592, just a little bit quicker than the Formula One Academy cars that were racing earlier on today, and we had some sports car talent in that as well, from Lamborghini Super Trofeo, as well from Porsche Sprint Cup. 2 of the drivers in that going to have a go at the single seaters. Sedgwick then by round about half a second from Libre in 2nd, then Hartog, Yardley with the fastest lap of 57.9 for him last time around.
It's a good effort in these conditions, and Ryan Yardley looking to get the bonus point for the fast lap.
58.3 for the leader last time around. Now, the start is under review. That's standard operating practice from race control in Porsche Carrera Cup North America. Did you see anything, Shay? Normally it's people breaking ranks before the line.
Yeah, I couldn't pick out anyone in particular who moved out of the column before the start-finish line. They were 4 wide going into turn 1 back in the midfield, and I really am impressed that everyone made it through cleanly.
Still 35 minutes to go. Now the Carrera Cup North America running on Yokohama tyres, and we have indeed got a penalty. And I did say at the start, I wondered if the leader had jumped across, and Alex Sedgwick has been penalised for changing lanes. That is going to be, I presume that's going to be a drive-through.
That would be a drive-through. That is the standard penalty for that transgression. I didn't see him change lanes before the line, but race control has more camera angles than we do, and they know better. The other car that is being deemed as being at fault of a false start is the 10. I don't know of the 10.
Don't have a 10.
No.
That's why I didn't. Could have been 20, if that's just a slip of the finger. We'll wait to see confirmation from race control. If you want to follow along live scoring, by the way, Porsche Carrera Cup.us is where we're getting our timing this weekend. Porsche Carrera Cup.us, and of course that keeps you up to date with all of the news from the series, not just this weekend, but right the way through the 2024 season. So
we should also mention that in the Masters class, it is Chris Belomo who's leading once again from pole position. Chris, who has been unfettered this year in claiming pole positions, ahead of two-time and defending series champion Mark Kwame. That takes some doing.
Do you think perhaps that at the moment the guys at the 98 JDX racing team, Alex, who lives in Southam, just down from Royal Leamington Spa in the centre of England, in Warwickshire. I think the JDX team might be having a word with race control. They are in communication and saying, can you have another look at that, because we're not really sure. And there's 3 laps, and it's going to be a 10-second penalty for that jump start for Ryan Sedgwick. For Alex Sedgwick, excuse me. That's what we're hearing from race control. So that at the moment, that would drop him down to 13th position behind Colin Kaminsky. So that's actually where the leader is running right now.
Yes, but that is a far less severe penalty than a drive-through. So that's actually not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
It's what you have to look at the bright side, right? Always got to be the optimist. But the reason that it's also important for Alex Sedgwick to be out there in the clean air and to continue pounding around, putting in faster lap after faster lap, he's right now doing lap times at best at a 58.3. His pole time for tomorrow is a 57.4. So it looks like his pole position for tomorrow will be safe. But should the track cool off a little bit, should it get quicker, he needs to be able to put in the quicker time, and clean air will give him that opportunity more so than anyone else.
And what Shea is alluding to there, dear viewer and listener, is we had one qualifying session. Your best lap sets the grid position for this race. Your second best lap sets the grid position for tomorrow's race. Yes, is what I was trying to get out in some kind of English. Unless you go quicker in this race, and we've seen that happen. Sometimes the particularly side-by-side action, and that looked like the 78 of Yardley, was it, that was right in there?
It was. Yardley got bullied by Gus Burton as Yardley was making an attempt to pass Luke Hartog. It opened up the door and Burton was waiting. There was side-to-side contact, and racing room asked for and not given to Ryan Yardley, and unfortunately he is dropped way, way back.
And I think it's a puncture as well for that number 78 black and yellow car. And that is a shame for Ryan Yardley, who is going to drop down there. So this was coming through to the hard rock hook, and on the inside there, the number 20 of Gus Burton, who's been quick all week. Was he making the apex? I don't know. I don't have to make those judgments. Did he go off the track? Also, I don't know. I don't have to make those judgments. But it looked like the two front Yokohama tyres just caught each other, and for a moment the steering probably pulled out of Gus Burton's hands, so they'll be taking a look at that in race control. At the front of the field then, the red and white number 98, I'm giggling because Jimmy Libre is flirting with track limits all the way through the entrance to turn 6 and 7. I think he had some tiny millimetre of the left-hand side Yokohamas still on the white line. He's got to be careful, but Jimmy Libre is leading the race. Let's not forget this at the moment, because of that 10-second jump start penalty for Sedgwick. Sedgwick now has dropped down to 11th place behind Yves Baltas. So that's where he is at the moment. The timing doesn't reflect that until the checkered flag. So what Sedgwick wants now is this race to stay green, and for him and Libre, Jimmy Libre, to pull away from Hartog and Vanier, who, by the way, is up into 4th, was Burton 5th, Cooper 6th in the number 88. And that is the Michael Cooper in the pro category. Then Dan Clark, McCann, De La Torre, and Cook for your top 10.
And effectively, Jimmy Libre is the driver at the biggest advantage out of anyone in this field, because he got to run on this track in 2022 as well.
Ah, yes.
He's the Porsche Sprint Challenge North American champion, but he won both races that took place in the 305 that year as well. So Jimmy Libre knows this track. Last year, didn't do so well, DNF in the first race and 11th in the second, but now he needs to stay calm, and the ACI Motorsports team needs to be on the radio to him saying, Jimmy, buddy, you're doing exactly what you need to. Focus forward and pretend like the car in front of you isn't there, because it's not.
Well, he's actually getting a pretty good steer from that car, in all honesty, because we know that Alex Sedgwick is a very accomplished driver indeed. Let's drop down through the field. By the way, the 3 different categories of 3 different colours, should have probably mentioned that before we went green. The orangey red stripe underneath the driver's name on the windscreen, and also that is what surrounds the number panel on the side, like that number 15 that you are seeing going through. That is turn 7 at the moment, and that is Yves Baltas, who has got Sabra Cook right behind, and Ryan Yardley in the pit lane. They're the pros. The Pro-Ams have a green stripe, and the Masters, those who are more experienced in life, if not racing, they have the yellow stripe. Moisey Aretsky in the number 44, green stripe means Pro-Am. Through the chicane, again the Gamebridge area of the track, and underneath the transit bridge onto the back straight, that purple colour for the sponsor there. Very difficult, particularly at this time of the afternoon when there's a little bit of shade there. Difficult to judge where that is, and even 1 or 2 of the Formula One drivers this weekend have been seeing how tough that corner is, and Jimmy Libre is doing a cracking job here.
He is driving the performance of his life at this point. This is the best we've ever seen from Jimmy Libre in the Porsche Carrera Cup North America. He's never been on the podium before, and his best finish has only been 4th, which he has gotten to twice. Unfortunately for Ryan Yardley, he came into the pit lane. They put a new right front Yokohama, which is another thing we haven't talked about yet. They're on Yokohamas this year as compared to a different make last year. But Jimmy Libre hounding Alex Sedgwick, he's racy. He wants to compete with somebody. And clearly he learned a lot from last year. He's applying it to this year, and he's well on his way to his first ever win.
This would be extraordinary. He can't really celebrate it until after the weekend. We've got another race tomorrow, end of sprint Saturday. We start the activities on Grand Prix Sunday here with the 4th round of the 2024 Porsche Carrera Cup North America. Coming down to 25 minutes to go. Let's check out the action in the categories. 14th position for Efren Castro in the 65, slightly different livery for Efren this year, but as ever, right in among the pro drivers. He's got the number 23 right behind him. That's Jordan Wallace, second in Pro-Am. Then Michael Verhagen is between those two, and Moise Oreski in the number 44, the car with the pink front on it. That car is third in the Pro-Am class. Mark Varmes fought his way ahead of Chris Palomo for the lead of Masters. That's the 43 of Mark Varme and Chris Palomo in the 68, and there are 3 cars between those two, and a good battle going on between Carlos de Quesada and Scott Blount in the respectively the 22nd, the 22 and the 45 car in 27th and 28th position. At the front of the field, the battle continues. Meantime, in 8th position, that's De La Torre in the yellow car, chasing the red car of Michael McCann, the number 8. And that is for 8th and 9th position. Down the inside at the final complex of corners, that is a position gained there. Lovely move by Sabra Cook.
Yeah, great pass executed on Yves Baltas as they went into that final corner at the end of the back straight. That was a very clean move by Sabra. She pulled out nice and early, showed the intent, and Yves ultimately, when he went to turn into the apex, there was already a Porsche there.
Yeah, not the best of seasons for Sabra last year, involved in an accident not of her making at Indianapolis Motor Speedway that brought her season to an end. Great to see her. She's worked really hard in the off-season to get her fitness and her confidence back. Actually, I don't think she had any problem with her confidence. Very accomplished driver. And then she had to get the deal done for this year. And it's good to see her back in the paddock. We are coming
really is
down to half distance now, 23 minutes still to go, and that 10-second gap for the red and white number 98 at the moment would put Alex Sedgwick down to 10th position, so still scoring some points.
Yves Baltas coming back on Sabra Cook, and again, very clean and well executed pass before they got into turn 10. It was a nice move. They're having a really good scrap, these two. They seem to be very well matched. Sabra last year, you mentioned the trials that she had over the course of the season, but her best race weekend was right here in Miami.
And hearing from the pit lane, I think we could have probably guessed that. Get to that in a moment. This was a few moments ago, with Sabra coming down the inside at the final corner, and then the compliment repaid halfway round the following lap, with Baltas making the pass back again through the hard rock hook. Oh, a little bit of side-by-side action there as well. That was 11, I think it was Peter Ludwig. Peter Ludwig in the dark car. And he was pushing his way through, taking advantage of the scrap that was going on ahead of him.
Elias De La Torre with just slightly better grip as they went through the marina and finally got the pass down on Michael McCann. Michael will be ruining that mistake.
One or two fewer yachts in the marina this year, but very nice.
Less.
Very nice though. We'll take any one of those. Hearing from the pit lane, as I was about to say before we were reviewing some of that action, is Ryan Yardley. I'm afraid in that number 78 car has now retired. That was the car we saw earlier in the pit lane with right front damage. The Hard Rock Hook is a fabulous place for overtaking, but there's one or two people really pushing the boundaries, literally as well as metaphorically, of the track there, as we've seen in all of the racing today here at Miami. And the Porsche Carrera Cup North America teams and drivers no different. They will take the opportunities that is given to them. And that's a cracking scrap going on with Zach Vanier, the man from Ontario, north of the border, as he battles with Luke Hartog. And right in front of him, in fact, this is Cuthbert Kelton in Essex, Chester way.
We're talking about
the top three together.
Yeah, they are, and it's causing a little bit of a problem, but it's also helping because Alex Sedgwick, that 10-point penalty looming, now puts him into P8.
Yeah.
So he is building the gap, and it's helping him to have Jimmy Lieber pushing him. But I'm wondering what's going to happen when Luke Hartog gets there, because the car that Luke is in, that's the livery, that's the team, that's the one that we know goes on to win championships. And there's been a coming together. Scott Blind is in there. Now, who is that with him?
Blind is the 45, the bright yellow car. Also in there as well, the number 22 is about to reverse out, I think. That's Di Casada.
Peter Ludwig.
And Peter Ludwig, who we saw earlier on in the number 11. They were all battling for 30th position, not all in the same class. Now, can Scott get that pointing in the right direction? Here comes, well, that's the mystery machine coming through. Matt
There
Holcomb.
goes Matt Halcomb.
So he's well down. What happened to Matt? He's normally at the sharper end of the field. He was going well earlier in the weekend.
Yeah.
We call that car the mystery machine because it actually has the colours of the Scooby-Doo van, and instead of Scooby-Doo's face on the front, it has Matt's door.
Which is exactly how it should be. Well, let's see, another incident going into that, the turn at the end of the back straight. That was Mark Kwame who was spun around. So that will give some breathing room to Chris Belomo at the head of the Masters class. Was that, no, it wasn't Madeline Stewart who spun around Kwame.
Turn 17, I think he might have gone on his own there. Little bit of corner cutting at the chicane. The marker post has been bashed around a little bit this weekend, but it's holding on at the moment. 18 minutes to go. Let's go back to the front of the field, Shay, and take a look at this three-car battle. Remember, Alex Sedgwick changed lanes at the start. He's got a 10-second penalty. That would take him down to 7th now, behind speedy Dan Clark. So Jimmy Lieber in the red, white, blue car, the number 2 in second on the road, he's leading, and Luke Hartog in the green and white car coming through the inside at the Marina. The Pirelli Marina turn has a little look there. That's turn 7, that tightens up. Then the little kick to turn 8. Now it's flat out. Get up through the gearbox. Gearbox, of course, with these 507 horsepower flat 6 normally aspirated Porsche engines, screaming for mercy at the back of these cars. Now into the braking area at turn 11. This is the left, and then through the hard rock hook. Still plenty of people watching on at that part of the circuit, which is now in shade. That'll be giving the Yokohama tyres a little bit of a break. 38.4 the track temperature now, Celsius. That's dropped down from well over 40. Oh, up the inside by Hartog as they go under the transit bridge, onto the long straight leading down to the final corner. And that's a new second place. Check that. That's a new leader, effectively, because that red and white car is 10 seconds back down the field after that jump start. Hartog then, 2 second place on the road, leads the motor race with 16.5 minutes to go. Here comes Lieber round the outside into turn 17. Gus Burton is there, Vanier's there, Cooper and Clark are coming as well. We're going to have 6 battling for the last 16 or so minutes.
This is the top 7 cars on the racetrack within 5 seconds of one another. This isn't a 1 or 2 car scrap for the lead. This is everybody. And at this point in the race, in this point in the season, nobody cares about championship points. They just want to win in front of the crowd. Around goes Jimmy Lieber.
Hits the wall on the driver's left-hand side as they were starting the lap now. Can he get it pointing in the right direction? There's damage, I think, to the right rear. Yeah, that car's done. There is suspension damage. And that was basically 3 Porsches into the early part of the lap at turns 2 and 3. Now, can he limp that car out the way, or will we see the red and white Porsche GT3 Salzburg safety car? Now this is manna from heaven if it stays green for Sedgwick. If it goes full course yellow, it's a disaster for him. We've already seen him drop now further down the field. I think he was just too hard on the... Ah, no, there was a touch.
Oh.
There was a touch with Gus Burton.
Oh,
Gus
and that's
Burt,
the second time for Gus Burton that he's been involved in contact with another car.
I don't think you can blame Gus for that, because
No.
Jimmy's right up on the curb and slides across the track, actually initiates the contact. Jimmy almost gets it back. Vanier goes through. The shunt at the front was bad enough because that will have taken a radiator out on the right front, but it was the secondary impact on the right rear. It looks like it's done some suspension damage. The worry there, of course, with the engine at the back will be, has the drive shaft done any gearbox damage as well? Sedgwick's lead, Hartog second, Burton third, Vanier, Cooper. Then Clark goes through in sixth. I'm watching the times as well as they go across the line. De La Torre in seventh is only 8.7 seconds behind the leader. We're covering this with a yellow flag at the moment. No, safety car's out. Safety car is out. This is a disaster for Alex Sedgwick. He was hoping to make a gap, and now with everybody closing up with 13.5 minutes to go, that 10 seconds for jumping the start is going to cost him very dearly indeed.
What a heartbreak for Jimmy Liebrecht, hometown hero in effect, who was looking to try and get his best ever series finish, maybe a podium, maybe that top step of the podium. Now he's watching the rest of the field drive by, and as he is preparing to get into the safety car, and you've got to feel for his team as well. ACI doing everything perfectly that they could. Unfortunately, it's resulted in a DNF for the driver of the number 2 Porsche.
He's fine. When I say he's fine, I mean I think physically he's all right. I don't think he's in a good state of mind. He is very agitated in the car. The Porsche intervention vehicle is there, and he thought he had a crack at it, just drifted wide through the exit of turn 1. That was all that Gus Burton needed to do on the right-hand side as he came through. That number 2 red, white and blue car just making contact with the yellow and white number 20 and spearing him off into the... So a 911 GT3 RS leading the field in the famous Salzburg racing colours from back through the years. If you're a Porsche nerd, as Shay and I are quite happy to admit that we are, that car brings back great memories. And of course, in the anniversary year at Le Mans, they ran in a number of classic heritage liveries. The Pink Pig was the one that did the best and won the race, but we did have the red and white stripe. And there is an element of that in the prototypes, the 963s that are running in IMSA and in the WEC, that red and white pin car that the Porsche Salzburg team ran in the 70s with the 908s in particular. I remember the little 908 in that colour. That looked fantastic. Sorry. I've had a racked out.
Well, while we're talking about legends, may I just take a moment to wish a very happy birthday to 2 Porsche legends. One, Mr. Hurley Haywood, who's turning 76 today, and the other, a Porsche owner and team owner, very successfully, the Core Autosport team owner. That would be John Bennett, who it's his birthday today as well. So may the 4th be with both of you.
Very good. I think in both of their cases, we can honestly say that Hurley Haywood is 76 years young, because he just does not seem to age at all. Hurley Haywood, whose name, of course, is part of this championship, because that's the award that will be made at the end of the season, Chip.
And for the first time last year, it was given to an American by Hurley, which was very cool. Riley Dickinson, the champion from 2023. 2022, we had a Canadian, Parker Thompson, who claimed it. And in 2021, it was a young man from Guernsey, Seb Frio. So we've had 3 different ethnicities claiming victory in this championship over the course of the season, as Bert is down there with the IMSA officials having a little powwow, interested to find out what that's all about.
And we should say that the Hurley Haywood Award is to help a young driver continue their career, potentially outside Porsche Carrera Cup. North America as we're inside 10 minutes. The clean-up into turn 2 continues. And we've seen some of those drivers go on to quite remarkable feats. If you look back in Carrera Cup and Super Cup down through the years, it is one of those series that has just produced talent for Porsche and sometimes for other manufacturers as well, but it has been the proving ground. And at the end of every season, Porsche Motorsport bring the top drivers together, the top young drivers together, take them across to Europe and put them in a competitive situation with fitness, with press responsibilities, and driving cars in different conditions, race conditions and qualifying conditions. And at the end, one of them becomes a Porsche selected driver, effectively, a Porsche young driver. My goodness, have we seen some talent that has come out of that down through the years here.
Yeah, we have. It's been reflected, actually, in many of the IMSA series. We've had Kai von Berlo, who's finished second in the Carrera Cup North America and was given the opportunity to go over and show his stuff in Europe. He got a GTD win last year at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We've had Riley Dickinson mentioned a couple of times so far on the broadcast, and sorry, we just can't help talking about Riley. We're so proud of him. Won the first race of the season in the Michelin Pilot Challenge this year alongside Kelly Moss with Riley. That would be Bill Riley, another legend of the sport. There have been so many drivers who have found success and really found their feet in sports car racing after starting in this championship and the previous iteration of it as well. Porsche does help people to move forward in sports car racing.
Can't always hold on to every one of them, but they always seem to remember their roots. Parker Thompson stepped outside the Porsche family for now, but he's been doing great things in the IMSA Championship, WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. We're down under 8 minutes now, and I suspect the problem is that broken rear suspension on the right-hand side of the Jimmy Lieber number 2 ACI Motorsports car. Jimmy from the Dominican Republic, very proud to be from the Dominican Republic. He is not a happy bunny at the moment. As it stands then, behind the red and white car that has the number 7 on the side, that is our safety car at the moment. That's the GT3 RS. Yes, Shea would take that one, no doubt.
That is my lottery.
Yeah. Okay. And the car behind the number 98 then, that is Alex Cedric Poolsitter. He broke ranks before the start-finish line, and that means he's got 10 seconds. That's going to put him down behind Jake Pedersen. So that's going to put him down to 12th position. And I'm sorry, I don't like saying I told you so when it keeps us from racing. That looks to be quite a difficult recovery there with that broken rear suspension, and the ACI Motorsports number 2 car hasn't gone on to the flatbed in anywhere near the way that the recovery wanted it. I think that it's gone on, because it's got that sort of bit of steering from the back end, it's gone on sort of sideways.
Before we went yellow, we had a change of lead in the Masters class, Sean. Mark Fame is being scored ahead of Chris Palomo.
Yes, I mentioned that just before. Yep, that's right.
That does not bode well. Because Chris Palomo, who's qualified on pole for every race so far this season, has yet to actually win one of those races.
There are 3 drivers, 4 Pro-Am drivers between those two and the next Masters driver, which I reckon is Tom Valamis in 3rd position. Let's talk about the classes. Efren Castro leads Jordan Wallace in Pro-Am. That's the 65 from the 23. They're in 13th and 14th, with Moitzi Uretsky in 3rd position there. There's something awry with that recovery, I'm afraid, and I'm not sure whether there's a problem with the flatbed or the car going onto it. But with 5 minutes left, we are losing the opportunity here to go back to green flag racing, and that is not good news for the man sitting at the front of the field. Normally you'd say the driver sitting in behind the safety car doesn't care whether you go back to green, but Alex Sedgwick absolutely does, because he wants to scoot off into the distance and try and stretch away from one or two cars behind him, Shay.
Yeah, and the trouble is that every time that they go past start finish, the accordion effect comes into play.
Yeah.
So everyone who is behind Alex Sedgwick is being told, get as close to the car in front of you as you can, particularly when we come to the checkered flag. The last time they crossed the start finish line, it was a 10-second gap, which would have dropped him back to 11th. This time, the 10-second gap would drop him back to 14th.
Well, we are now we have got a rather precarious recovery going on at the moment. The ACI car is not on the flatbed properly, and that the guys at the team will be very worried about that. It is on a winch, it's not just balanced there, but that is very, very precarious indeed, and the safety team, rightly, I don't think are happy about that. 3.5 to go. Not sure what's gone wrong there, but something has gone wrong. That, even with that rear suspension problem, that should have been an easier recovery than that. So the white flag is out. So the field is frozen. We get to see one more lap of the GT3 RS. And Alex Sedgwick will be cursing his luck. It's a shame, because we had 16 minutes when the safety car was called. I did hope that we get back to green flag. We've got another race tomorrow, of course. Safety car just over 500 horsepower, so 100 horsepower more than the race cars, actually. And if you got 200,000 pounds or thereabouts, so that's what, $240,000. And if you can get on the list, still a 4-litre normally aspirated engine, so shares the same engine as the race cars behind it, but is actually in a higher state of tune. Because, sorry, 525 as against 507. Yeah, so not 100 horsepower. My apologies. Because 507 is not in. So, rather disappointing end to this first of two races this weekend, Jay. As far as it, now, what Sedgwick's got to do here, when the safety car pulls up, he's got to get his foot down. He's got to squeeze away, because at the moment he's behind the number 91 of Michael Verhagen, so he's going to drop down to 15th position.
Oof. Not the day that he was hoping for, particularly after getting his first pole position. It will be a successful day, though, for Luke Hartog, who will inherit the race win.
Correct.
And the championship lead. He came into this weekend 1 point behind Gus Burton, and by my basic math, I think he's going to have a 3-point advantage at the end of this one.
I always leave Shea to do the arithmetic.
I was an English major. It's a big mistake, John.
Yeah, but you can spell the numbers perfectly, which is really nice.
Yes.
And all the punctuation is correct, and any apostrophes will be in the right place, I'll promise you that. So, in the classes then, it's a win in Masters for Mark Varme in the number 43 car, from Chris Palomo in the 68, and in third It's Tom Balamis in the number 19 in Pro-Am. Efren Castro is going to win it at the front of the field. Alex Sedgwick, excuse me, will cross the line first as the safety car pulls into the pit, but his 10-second penalty is going to drop him down. So it will be the number 24. And I noticed Luke Hartog right there. The safety car stayed out, actually, and didn't pull into the pit lane. And I wonder if that was just because they didn't want Alex to shoot away. That 10-second penalty is going to push him down to 17th position. Absolute disaster, and that's all down to the kiss on the wall for the number 2 car of Jimmy Libra, who was battling for a top position, led the race in effect for a while, but damage to the rear suspension. We didn't see John Guts starting the race, and also David Tuate as well, and I'm pretty certain we had Ryan Yardley retired as well in the pit lane with damage to the right front. So bittersweet for Sedgwick, who had pole and was controlling the race, but really needed it to go green shade to give him a chance of any decent points today.
Yes, and unfortunately it's not going to help his championship aspirations as well, with the top 2 pulling even further ahead. We've got Luke Hartog on 71 points now, Gus Burton potentially on 68, depends on who was credited with the fastest lap. Yardley and Sedgwick both with bad days. They came into this weekend 3rd and 4th in points, but it wasn't a particularly great day for Colin Kaminsky either, finishing 9th, and Michael Cooper will be the one who benefits the most with the 3rd place finish. In Pro-Am, it is still Marco Gironi who leads that class with James Sofronis in 2nd, but with the win, Efren Castro vaults from last in the class up just outside of the top 5. In Am, it will still be Matt Halcomb leading the way. Chris Palomo still should be credited with 2nd, and Mark Kwame moving himself up into the conversation in the top 5 in points with 41 after coming into today's race only with 16.
How about Sabra Cook in 9th position? That's a great finish for her. She has had top 10s before. Gus Burton, by the way, had the fastest lap of the race on the 3rd lap, a 1:57.862. So that was not troubling the lap record that was set by Riley Dickinson, a 56.6 from last year. Well, do you think, I was just about to say, do we think that Alex knows about his penalty, but he's pulled out the way, and I think he's going to let Luke Hartog go through. He is scored in 15th position, just behind Moise Oretsky. That has now updated on the timing and scoring. That was an expensive manoeuvre at the front of the race. Game of inches share, it wasn't much, but it is an absolute no-no to break the column that you're in, the line of cars that you're in, before the control line.
Yep, and it is something that he knows very well, having done a full season of this championship, but he's never started it with clear track ahead of him. So that will be a mistake that he will not make again. And for Alex Sedgwick, the good news is he'll have another opportunity to practice it with tomorrow's race, because he does still have the pole position for that one as well, and the 2 points that go along with that.
Cars coming into the pit lane now to end the track action on Sprint Saturday here at the Miami Grand Prix weekend. Race number 3 of the IMSA Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Yokohama, having been completed. It's a short-ish turnaround, so anybody who's got problems might not be going out and putting their dancing trousers on tonight here in Miami, because they are out first thing in the morning. It will be an early breakfast, and these guys are out for round 4 pretty
10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 10:30 Miami time. That is 3:30 in the UK. If you are following along, thank you for all the kind words on @IMSA Radio. That's how you always get in touch with us for our international feed. Let's see if we are going to be able to honour our winners.
I'm very pleased with how clean the cars are coming back into the pit lane. Given all the chaos we saw, particularly in qualifying, there was quite a bit of side-to-side contact, but most of the liveries look as if they won't need any sort of touch-up tape.
ACI will be keen to get Jimmy Liebra's car back and have a look at the rear end, also see if there was any other damage to that car. Certainly it went in right front first, and then spun around. And there, as I said, there are radiators at the front of these Type 992, 911 GT3 Cup cars. Tom Delamas just coming through as he will be on the podium in Masters. Carlos de Quesada in 4th in Masters, Matt Holcomb in 5th. Scott Blind, who was facing the wrong direction for a moment, will be 6th in the Masters. And in Pro-Am, Efren Castro from Jordan Wallace and Wojciech Retsky on the podium, with Marco Cironi in 4th, Alan Metney, the 99 in 5th, Kenton King in 6th, Jeff Morsing in 7th. James Sofranis, all the way from the back of the field, by the way, got himself up to 23rd position and 8th in the Pro-Am class. So
There's just been an update to timing, John. Gus Burton has been dropped down to P18.
Oh.
That has a serious championship implication, because that means that he no longer has 68 points. That would score him back a lot closer to his initial championship points total.
So that's a 10-second penalty for him as well.
That is.
So
and that moves Zach Vanier, who not only got his first podium today, up to 2nd, and Michael Cooper, for the 2nd consecutive year, is on the podium in Miami.
And Dan Clark in 4th position. That's his best run in the Porsche Carrera Cup North America. Well done to Luke Hartog, who takes the win with a couple of penalties, promoting Vanier and Cooper onto the overall podium. Shea Adam was alongside me. John Hindorf in the IMSA Global Broadcast Centre. Sedgwick losing out, and also Gus Burton losing out. I think that was probably for the contact with Jimmy Liebra that put him in the wall. So that's just about it for Sprint Saturday. 10:30 local time, Eastern, summertime in the morning. If you would like to join us then for another 40 minutes, let's hope it stays green. That was just boiling up rather nicely. We're slightly robbed of the grandstand finish that Shea and I were hoping for. Final thoughts from you, Shea?
Can't wait for tomorrow morning. Track is going to be in completely different conditions, and the drivers are going to have slept on what happened in the race tonight and come back with a bit of a vengeance.
Congratulations to all of our winners. Our thanks to the technical team here at Miami, in London, and of course at NASCAR Productions in Concord as well. And a particular thanks to our camera operators around the track. It's been an exceedingly long, hot day for them. Shea Adam and me, John Hindorf, signing off on this Saturday evening from Miami. Up with the Larks tomorrow. Nice big breakfast, cup of coffee, and then we'll be back on track for round 4 of the IMSA Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Yokohama. Bye-bye.